Hi, so I'm clicking here to open the questions. Let me see. Okay, it's loading up. Cool. Okay. So let me move this. How do I move this? Can I move this? Maybe not. Okay. So it's the screen. Well, all right. So who developed the stages of cognitive development? That was Piaget. What do you know about his stages? What is something a child can't do at stages 2 to 7? Cognitive. And they can do at stages 7 to 12. So from 2 to 7, it is pre-operational. And then, and stages 7 to 12 is concrete operational. So when I think of this, I think of the videos, kind of the Play-Doh. So kind of mass, volume, the waters, they cannot see the similarity between them, like seeing how it has the same mass, it's just formed into different forms, or the water. And then at stages at the concrete operational, which is 7 to 12, that's when they are able to really understand the similarities. Part of his theory from question 1 had to do with disequilibrium, assimilation, and accommodation. Do you know about those words? What do you know about those words? So disequilibrium is kind of it's an unbalance. So assimilation is kind of saying, so let's say a child is kind of knows what a cat is. Let's say they've only been exposed to a cat. They know it has 4 legs. It has kind of like a tail and has little ears, and kind of that shape. So let's say they come run into a little puppy that's the same size of a cat, same color, but they call it a cat. They look at it and call it a cat. That's assimilation. They're using their prior schemas and assimilating something. Accommodation is when you put the correct information together and they let the child know that is not a cat, that is a dog, it does woof. So now the child gets a scheme of the dog and puts it and accommodates it to its memory so it can know what a dog is. What do you know about constructivism? So constructivism has to do when using your prior knowledge. It also has to do with critical thinking, collaboration. It has to do with near learning, near transfer of learning, far transfer of learning. That is when you, so whatever you learned, you transfer it. So let's say you're writing, learning how to write essays in your English class. You can use that information of writing essays in order to formulate an essay in your social studies class, history class, any other class. So for transfer learning, let's say if what's an example? Let's say you kind of look at the mechanics of oh my god, I have the words, I just cannot get them out. Kind of you use your knowledge into a more complex. So let's say you're learning something in school, but you're not learning about chess, but yet you use that context or that kind of information and knowledge and you apply it to, like, let's say a chess debate or kind of critical thinking, but it's complete different. So it's more complex applying it. There's also the different types of transfer learning. There's a facilitator of learner. So it's those things. So we know what positive reinforcement and punishment are, but what is really negative reinforcement? So the term negative has nothing to do with the reinforcement. Negative is a stimuli, so it's taking a stimuli away. It can be an adverse stimulus or stimuli, which is something yucky that is unappealing, or it can be taking away a positive, appetitive stimuli, which is something that's appealing to the child that they want. And then reinforcement is just maintaining a certain behavior. So it would be taking away a certain stimulus to maintain a behavior. So Erikson developed 8 stages of psychosocial development. Which one did he think was most critical and why? The most critical one was the first stage of trust versus mistrust, which is infancy to 2 years old, because that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the stages, depending the type of care they receive and the type of attention develops, if they're able to trust people, and then that kind of falls into place with the other ones. What do you know about the zone of proximal development? Why might it be important for teachers to know? So zone of proximal development is kind of like the learning, what a learner is kind of in their scale. It's like a yoke. It's a big oval with the little one in it, and that's where the learner is. The end of the oval, the line, is kind of where the scaffolding happens, and then that's where they try to meet the end. But obviously, when that scaffolding, that help comes away, they do a natural regression. So it's kind of in the middle. And this is important for teachers to help a learner grow. I mean, they might not master it completely. There will be a natural regression, but they will be better off than where they previously were. And it'll help them become independent or individualized in their learning. What theory are the words empathy, sense of self part of? That is social emotional development. Why does this area of thought have impact on the way students learn? Because definitely that impacts the way, if you don't have a basis for their emotion, for that foundation, that's kind of the basis. So let's say they're going through all these critical aspects of social emotional disturbances, their problems, they're not able to further their education, their academics, their learning. So that's a very crucial stage. Why would constructivists want to do away with the way grading is currently done in schools, as well as standardized testing? Because that is setting everyone at the same standards. It is not applying. So like, say, I remember the story the professor said, something, I don't remember what states, but it's like the standardized testing was about tractors, and let's say over here we don't have tractors, so yet they fail because they've never been exposed to that. So everyone is set at the same goal despite all the differences and all kind of what they learned and not. So lastly, the very early theories came out of the idea of conditioning. Why are people so opposed to using the real terms? Because the real terms is classical, and that was used to a dog, so it's comparing students to dog as animals, so that's why they like to use the word association theory, and they became a new word. It's the same terms, but it's just kind of the relation of the words. I feel more confident than I was in the beginning, so that's good. That's what I think of it. Thank you very much.